Mike, I've known you for a long time. I hired you as my helper when you were 23.
Yes.
And you barely survived that trauma.
Yes.
And you had a lot of struggles in your youth.
Yes.
But you've really worked hard. You've become a good man, a hardworking man. I've seen it.
You helped do that. After working with you, and then I messed up a little bit and went and served a couple more years after working with you. Got out, and I didn't want to go back to jail again, so I jumped into a carpentry trade. And so I started building houses in San Marcos. Well, when I first got out, I moved to Bethel Island and met up with some construction people and got a shot to go build houses in West Pittsburgh, San Marcos.
And now, over the years, the last few decades, you've progressed. And now, what are you doing?
Made friends, and then got my shot to go into the union. Worked all the way up from a stocker scrapper to a metal stud framer, lather, and then now I'm trying to become a junior superintendent, which is a little harder. Well, it's a lot more on your plate.
Yeah.
Because
it's not just you now; you're supervising other people.
Yeah.
And this is part of, I think, the greatness of our country is that if you decide to turn around, you can turn around and you can make something out of yourself. But the other unfortunate part of what we're seeing now is that it's harder, especially in California, to support a family.
Yes.
And no matter how hard you work, it's just harder to support a family. And so why don't you tell us what happened with Yvonne? You met Yvonne, and then had little Giovanni.
I'm just a regular, worker in the union, just a journeyman. And so I took some family leave, and we was having a little baby boy, September 21st. So we go in there, she has to have a C-section, and successful. And we have a healthy little baby.
He's very healthy.
And, and then so they keep her for 3 days, and then they release her. But the day he was born, I got a phone call from my new company, Richland, asking, they need me, or, they want me. And I just told them, I was like, can you give me 2 weeks? And they said yes, and so I took the job, even though I was going to take a month off with Stockham, to, help out with the baby, get bonded with the baby and make sure everything was okay. But this job was like a limited opportunity. I don't get these opportunities a lot. So I jumped on the job, 1 week after he was born. Well, and then October 10th comes, Monday, I come home from work. My baby says she don't feel good. And I was like, well, baby, relax. I don't want you cooking dinner. She's like, we need to go get formula and stuff for the baby because she wasn't producing a lot of breast milk. So we go to Target, and we also have her 7-year-old son with us. And so we go to Target. We get our stuff, and then I'm like, baby. So we stop at In-N-Out. We get burgers, and then we go home. So I feed my stepson Isaac, and then I grab the baby, bring him into the bedroom, waiting for little mama, waiting for Yvonne to come in. And then all of a sudden she comes waddling in the door and she can't speak. So I grab her because she was about to fall down, and then bring her over to the edge of the bed, and then I called 911.
So what happened was she had a massive stroke.
She had a massive stroke. She had a blood clot in her brain. So while the ambulance takes her away, I'm getting the baby and my 7-year-old stepson Isaac, ready. And then I call her dad, and I'm rushing over to the hospital. And I get there, and there's she has a blood clot in her brain. So we're gonna have to move her all the way to Sacramento to do emergency surgery on her, because they're trying to her artery. They try to leak it through her artery, I guess, but it kept closing, the one through her leg. And so I call her daughter. Her daughter comes over, and then so I leave my pretty much 17-day-old son with my 18-year-old daughter at the time. Yeah, I followed the ambulance all the way out to Sacramento, and then so I'm staying in contact with them, waiting for their phone call, and then they finally called me at like 3:10 in the morning. I'm still in the parking lot. They're like, you can come see her now. And then I went and seen her, and they had to open up her skull, remove part of her skull to relieve pressure.
And you're still waiting for them to replace that part of her skull.
She's supposed to get her skull cap put back in April.
Okay.
Hopefully. Because they said that, the doctor told me like this, her brain was the size of a watermelon. And then now it's down to the size of an apple now. And then hopefully they want it to get back to the size of a walnut that's supposed to be in her head.
Okay. So the
swelling.
comparison of swelling. Yeah.
Yes. And she was swollen up so bad that her tongue was hanging out her mouth, split all open. Both eyes closed. Poor baby.
So you went through the experience with the hospital, and that's when you had called me a little bit after this. And what I remember walking with you through that was so hard was it seemed like they just kind of pushed her out of the hospital without any help or anything set up for her at home.
No, they did at first. It was like, so she finally came out the hospital because they put her in a convalescent. First they sent her to San Francisco, and then she fell out of her wheelchair there, and then her dad threatened to sue them, and then next thing I know, they kicked her out of that nice facility, and so they got pissed. I think they got really mad because my father-in-law was like, because they called me we went and visited her on Friday, and then Friday night, I'm sitting there shopping, trying to get him some clothes and stuff, at whatever it was, Burlington. And then they call, and they're like, yes, do we have permission to take your wife to get a CAT scan? She fell out of her wheelchair. I was like, how'd she fall out of her wheelchair? I was really upset with that. And then I had to call my father-in-law. Father-in-law made a big old deal, and then they booted her out of that facility and then sent her to a Sacramento convalescent home, which was, I think this place only has like 2 stars, Tony. It was bad there. It's pretty, I would have rather have her Antioch convalescent than this place. It was bad. No one's paying attention to nobody. She had a broke TV where you can only turn it by hand, and she only had like limited channels. And I know she was missing her baby and stuff, and then so she was crying every day, every night, and it just killed me, And I'm still on my maternity leave from us having the baby. And then, so we fought to get her out of there, And so we got her out, and then Kaiser was supposed to be sending physical therapy over there twice a week, but then they started calling in sick, it's COVID, and everything just started happening, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, she's good. She could walk everywhere. And then just like brushed her off, and then all of a sudden nothing,
Basically, she's at home.
Yeah.
And she can't walk. She can
walk a little distance, but it's not like regular walking. I got to watch her ankle because...
Right. She can't walk alone.
No.
She can't take care of herself in any way. In other words, someone has to be there to take care of her.
Yes.
You guys didn't have anyone in the family to do that. And so Kaiser, they were supposed to give you a social worker. They were supposed to do all this stuff to help you out. And yet that never materialized.
No.
It still hasn't really
materialized.
And this is, we're in March, and this was December, and there still has been no help from social services or anything like that.
Everything I got from hand-me-downs that are seen on the side of the road.
Okay.
Like her shower stool, this wheelchair, everything. I have got nothing.
And
I buy all her diapers. I buy all of her blanket pads. What do you call those? Chucks, which I just learned. Chucks,
So you then you also had to walk through the labyrinth of continually calling Kaiser to try and get, and I know this because my wife's disabled and we have Kaiser, and it can be a labyrinth of trying to get them to help, going through all of their regulations or whatever, and
Jump through hoops.
It's this,
Call
like
this person, call that person.
It's like this.
I have nothing to do with this now.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Constant circle of trying to get help, and then there is a governmental responsibility. You do pay your taxes, you do pay your Social Security, and the reason for that is for there to be a net for hardworking Americans to be able to have help. And again, social services, months and months, there's nothing, and they either go to this person or go to that person, and so the fact is you guys are kind of on your own, and we've tried to help as much as we can. We're trying
thank
to
you. I appreciate
our church, Brentwood Neighborhood Church, made 30 meals for you guys, which was a huge
still eating
help.
on that.
And because our church knows that where we're at now, the community has to help, and churches need to be helping their community too, for people in need. That's
and
the
then
whole.
Just trying to get her on Social Security is a whole other thing.
Yeah, then you went to the Social Security office and ended up being assaulted with your baby in your hands.
Yes, that did happen. I filed a complaint. Feel like I'm getting stalked now. But hopefully, no.
Yeah, and that was, and the lady behind the counter saw it happen and actually.
Both ladies.
Both ladies, and encouraged you to file a complaint against.
They actually wrote the report for me, and all I had to do was sign it.
Okay, it's just not right. So, but the point is, and again, why we turning to YouTube and to GoFundMe is because any of us are one step away from this. Most Americans are one step away from having a tragedy happen in the family and not having support, and thinking that there's a safety net there that honestly, it's not there like it should be. And there's a lot of reasons for that. I won't go into it. You draw your own conclusions, but we are asking the community, we are asking people out there to help this family. This is desperation. We're doing everything that we can. We're going through all the hoops, but we're turning to you guys as a community out there on YouTube, and we're asking you to help this family. We need to we're trying to fund someone to come in and help Yvonne. So Mike, I call him Mick because that's what I used to call him. Mike can go to work and feed his family. He's a hardworking guy. He's not looking for handouts. This isn't a handout. This is help, folks. This is the community coming together to help each other. So there you go. We're gonna leave it at that. Why don't we bring the baby over here so they can probably hear him in the background. Look at this little jumbalicious here.
It's our little guy.
That's him. That's him.
He's happy.
There's this added dynamic of taking care of a new baby too. A wife that is now disabled, and she was earning income, and that's gone now. So we're asking for your help and your prayers, and we appreciate it.
Thank you.